particularly this past week, as scorching heat dome temperatures have baked the region, and as the news takes note finally of the diminishing water line at Lake Mead, people sometimes ask me why I bother to grow a garden in Vegas. Especially this year, because there's some sort of rodent that has decided that it's entitled to all of my tomatoes without regard for how ripe they are. Sometimes it does beg the question of why I have one. The answer is simple, but threefold. Number one, in grad school, I studied environmental stress on plants, and I felt like in order to prove to myself, at least, if not to others, that I knew what I was talking about, that I should grow some things at my house, which I do. And I'm proud of it. Even if I let everything go to flower and go to seed, at least I beautified the region. Number two, there's a direct physical and financial benefit to planting plants in your yard. A bare desert lot is actually cooler than a lot with rocks in it. Desert landscaping is low maintenance, but it also actually makes it hotter because the desert, as naturally constituted, actually bleeds heat at night and cools off. So when you put some shade trees in, some bushes, some actual plants, they remove heat from the air, they remove toxins from the air, and as soon as I step onto my property, I feel like it's more comfortable than it is in the street or in the neighbor's yard, etc. So it's a direct physiological and financial benefit because then I also save on cooling costs because my trees are now big enough that they shade parts of the house and parts of the garden. So I don't have to I'm saving about 50 gallons of water every day now that my trees are mature because they shade other things and I don't have to water them as much. Finally, there's a spiritual, religious aspect to my garden. I specifically chose a lot with an east-facing backyard. This was for utility, so I could grow a garden, and that way the garden would be in the shade in the afternoon and the evening. But it was also because of this scriptural reference. And he planted a garden eastward in Eden. And I plant a garden in the eastern part, and it's my small token effort to beautify the small rectangle of earth over which I have stewardship. That I have taken it and I have improved upon it. I have dressed it and taken good care of it. I have multiplied it and replenished it, and I have brought life there. And so, whatever else I do at work, at church, with my family, with friends, on the rare occasion that I pursue a romantic opportunity, there I reap what I sow. Not all the time. Some of my plants die. Some of them never bear fruit. Some of them don't bear fruit that I get to eat before something else gets to it. But there I reap what I sow. And it is a reminder to me that things have a balance and that things have a purpose. It's a place where birds come, where insects come, where they know they can come get water, they can come get food, they can come have shelter, they can come have rest. And a lot of the birds and other critters, I think, know that I'm the gardener. The bees in the springtime when they come to the flowers and I'm out watering at the hose sometimes come angrily out of whatever they're pollinating. And then when they realize it's me, they shut up and fly back to what they were doing. I think they know who I am and what I'm doing, and they allow it. It is a reminder to me that there is a gardener and I am not he, that may have some small power over some small part of the earth, but that I am dependent on another gardener just as these organisms are dependent on me. If I stop watering them, all the plants will die, the birds will go away, the insects will die, and everything will revert back to a wasteland, I guess. And if we're not continually replenished from the east, then we will be too. So that's why I have a garden in Vegas. Sometimes it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a lot of work, a lot more than I think it's worth, actually. But it's a matter of personal satisfaction. When Adam and Eve were cast out of the garden, they were told that by the sweat of their brow they would eat their bread. And they were told in the garden to take care of the earth. And I cannot save the planet, and I cannot save the oceans, and I cannot save the bees or the snails or the whales, but I can act here and lift where I stand and do my part to beautify that small part of the earth that I inhabit and I intend to keep doing it as long as I have strength and time. You should try it. It does have other benefits, but these are mine. Have you tried to grow a garden? How's it working out for you? It's not for everybody, and I'll grant you that. But if you do, I promise you that you will understand the reasons why others do it, even if you decide to stop.